An expressive outsider from Long Island, much like myself, Gina Kirschenheiter joined the cast of The Real Housewives of Orange County in season 13, ready to shake things up. She joins us now to chat about her new home and love life, raising their combined 6 kids, and all that comes along with being a real housewife in a real pandemic. Hey, Gina.
Thanks for having me, Justine.
Now, from one Long Island girl to another, I've always dreamed of what it would be like to live in California. So how would you describe the differences between New York and California? Which do you like better now?
Okay, so the biggest differences are definitely the weather, the food, and the people. And I'll tell you, I love the weather here, but I much prefer the food and the people in New York.
Okay, that makes sense. No, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and even like honestly, they're like even Travis is from California, but he doesn't seem like that to me, you know. And I think like you know how it is. Even it's not even something meant to be purposely insulting. It's just like New York people are my people, you know. So I'm more comfortable with that type of vibe, and it's definitely like a very different vibe of people. So.
Now, as a reality star, your life is out there for all to see. And we saw on a recent episode of Housewives that you decided to give a victim impact statement regarding a past incident with your now ex-husband. Can you tell us a little bit more about that and what you hope other women will gain from your experience?
In all honesty, and I guess was me being kind of naive to it, I didn't honestly realize the impact that it was going to have sharing it. And I really truly was just stuck in my own stuff. That's why I don't even think I was at it was even, you know, a time where I could be thinking about how it would affect other women. But since doing it and sharing, even from last year, the little bit that at the reunion, I have so many women reach out to me, and it's unbelievable, but it's believable how many women are out there, all different levels of abuse and situations and everything. But it makes me happy if it does help somebody else find that confidence to stick up for themselves. I feel like for me, it really was about me needing to do this for myself. Um, and and ultimately we still are going through it because because of COVID, he hasn't even come to finalize his court case and everything. But it helped me really to start to treat my ex differently. And since then, I feel like it has changed him for the better, and we're able to now like co-parent better. I don't think that will happen for every woman, you know, just because you do it for yourself and you stand up to them. Some men will never change, but I still think it's important for you as a woman to make yourself healed and whole. And it's a long journey. Like, just because I was able to acknowledge that, it was very healthy for me and good for me. But I only recently started to go to therapy for that because I couldn't even open up that box for like a long time. You know, it's been over a year now. And it feels good that I am able to start to talk about that and release some of that like hurt and anger and start to heal.
So, how has pandemic life been for you between trying to film a show safely, having 3 kids out of school, plus 3 others part-time? How has life been?
Yeah, it was really hard, Justine, like really hard. We first of all, of course, like stopping production of the show was really major, you know, and that when I heard the kids were not going to school and then we were stopping filming the show, that's when I really realized like this is very bad. And it was the second half of the year last year. Do you have kids?
Yes, I have 1 3-year-old.
Okay, that's enough, right? But yeah, so the homeschooling the second half of the year was really hard. And I think also the added element, it was hard for me and Travis here homeschooling the 6 kids, but then the new adjustment in the co-parenting with my ex was so difficult because we've never had to share that responsibility before like that. So that I think had like a very big impact on everything as well. Um, and just not knowing, it was like the not knowing when this was going to be over. And to a certain extent, even now, now it's just like the majority of my relationship with Travis too has been during quarantine. So I would say though, the one good thing is if you make it through that, you're probably pretty solid.
Yeah.
I feel good about that, but it's still just so sad that we can't even just like go to a restaurant and, go on like a regular date. It's just not normal. It's really weird and tough.
Yeah, and trying to do that while also trying to film the show in whatever kind of way they were giving you guys was I would imagine also hard, because we're seeing now in the episodes you guys trying to take home footage and phone footage.
Yeah, that's all we had was the home footage. And like I remember my producer called me at one point, and Thomas, he was like, Gina, if you don't send us some videos, you're not even going to be in this episode. And I was like hanging on by a thread. Like the last thing I could do was try to set up the camera and set it out in the middle of the chaos. So, and then I think it is funny because I'm not really much in the home footage one, but I'm thankful for that because also my home footage was horrifying. So yeah, it was really difficult. And also, you know what, then when we got the green light to go back to production, we did everything extremely cautiously and safely. But I was still very concerned how people were going to perceive that. Like, we have a show to make, we have a responsibility, we have to continue to finish out this season, but now we're going on vacation in the middle of a pandemic, So for me, I was trying to reconcile those things in my head, but ultimately the show must go on, So
Oh, yeah. And I mean, listen, I literally just watched last night when you guys went to Lake Arrowhead, and at the end of the day, it was just you guys. You're wearing your masks when appropriate. Obviously,
Yeah.
you must be getting COVID tested constantly.
We
So
were, yeah.
from a viewer perspective, I never thought twice that.
I felt bad for the crew, honestly.
Yeah.
The crew had to jump through 10 million more hoops just to be able to get it done. And like, my hat really goes off to all the crew on our show because they did a phenomenal job just, following protocol to let us be able to complete this season.
All right, now we got to spill a little tea. We've been hearing a lot about your co-star Bronwyn in the press lately. Where is your friendship at with her, and what are your thoughts on all of her latest headlines?
It's really difficult for me with Bronwyn because she's just very tough for me, because as much as like I'm honest with her, I tell her this to her face, a lot of the stuff that she does just genuinely annoys me, but I still do feel bad for her, and I do recognize that she really is going through a lot of pretty heavy major stuff right now. And we just did the reunion, and then I talked to her after the reunion, and she is having like a tough go of it, in a lot of different areas of her life. But she still just like does it in a way that like, ugh, like annoys everybody. So it's hard with her.
It's been a lot. It's a lot to hear, even from a viewer standpoint. One announcement after the next, after the next, after the next. It almost feels slightly disingenuous from an outsider's perspective. So are you guys friendly when you're not filming anymore? So when you do all these things, do you feel like an obligation to be there for her?
And I guess in a small sense, because but not because she puts it on me, just because I just feel like sort of obligated to do it, because to me, Bronwyn is the person who, she does all these flashes and bells and whistles. I feel like she's really deflecting from like having to deal with like her actual issues in a way. Mm-hmm. And then she'll say things like, she said a few things at the reunion that really just like got to me in a way that like really just, I can't stop thinking about it. Like, certain things bother me so much. And so like, then I reach out, and we weren't talking towards the whole, after we wrapped filming, because then she was saying a lot of stuff in press that was bothersome to me. But I did feel bad after reunion, and I told her that I think we should try. I just like to go for a cup of coffee and see where it goes from there. So, you know, I'm always gonna try.
Now, what has the latest season been like without the OC All-Stars, Tamara and Vicky? Do you still keep in touch with them? Are you missing them? How's it going?
So Vicky, no, because Vicky wouldn't, you know, care to stay in touch with anybody, and that's the way she likes it, and that's the way we like it too. So that's good. Tamara was not very happy with some of the comments that I made in press about how I did feel like the season was super successful and felt more like organic and real.
Mm-hmm.
But she actually just texted me or DM'd me like 2 days ago, and we've been chatting. And you know what, the thing about Tamara is she can't, like, she just puts it out there. She's like, yeah, I was pissed at you for saying those things, but I'm over it, you know? So for me at first, when I first heard that like Tamara wasn't going to be on it, I was really nervous because she is a big force and energy on the show, and she was a driver of the show. And I was like, what are you going to do now? You know, because I'm not a driver of the show. I don't know how I always end up in the drama and the crosshairs, because I don't go for that at all. I'm just there, you know, but she moved things forward and progressed things, and it was scary, but then it's kind of one of those things you don't know until you get in it. And actually, it really did sort of like, I think it cleared space for other people to take more space, you know?
Yep.
So it really worked out really well.
All right, so you are 3 seasons into the OC now. I have to ask, are you liking it still?
Yeah, I do like it. You know, like there are things about it that it's a lot of work. It really is. It's so much more than people think. But it's fun, and it's fun. You know what? Even though we all go through a lot of major stuff on the show, my favorite part is just watching. I make myself laugh. The ridiculous things I say, and that's fun, and it's a good opportunity, and we get to experience great things together, and it's a once in a lifetime thing, you know? So I feel very privileged to be a part of it, even though sometimes it gets a little crazy. But like that dinner with Emily was like everything for me. Watching that,
So much fun.
like, oh my God, I don't even remember half the stuff we were saying. So watching it back, just that stuff is the good stuff, you know? So yes, I love it. I still think it's great.
You know, you think when you called Bronwyn when you were drunk that night was everything. You're like, no, let's call her. Let's call her.
Get her on the phone. Dial her up.
Thank you so much, Gina, for being so open and honest and just such a blast to talk to. Lots of luck to you and your lovely family. We can't wait to keep watching you on the OC.